Good afternoon and welcome to Motivation Speaks with Angel Ferguson. We thank you for joining us during our Saturday edition. For this is truly the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. It is always an honor and a pleasure to spend time with you. Whether it is here during our live podcast, via our social media outlets, or by you receiving our monthly magazine, Hope and Truth. There are several ways in which you can connect with us. Our website is www.afergusonswrp.simplesite.com. Our email address is afergusonwrp@yahoo.com. You can connect with us via social media. Facebook, our pages are WTI Productions, Hope and Truth Magazine, Motivation That Inspires Bookstore, and author Angel Ferguson. You can also listen to our podcast via iHeartRadio under the Balance of Life. You can download the episodes, and there are times that we share the episodes in written format that we will email to you. A lot of times we take the information and it is a part of our magazine. It's on our blogs. If you are looking for our blog, it is angel5678blog.wordpress.com. During today's episode, on Saturdays, as you know, we love to do book reviews, and there are times that we will have an invited guest in, or we will discuss a book. And today we're going to do both. We're going to discuss the book Perfect Patty Messed Up. It is a devotional written by Minister Kadrina Dion. We're going to talk about this book. I absolutely love it. We discussed it before, but I want to discuss it again, as there are some interesting things coming up connected to this book. And then we are also going to have a call-in interview with author Denise Thomas. She is the founder of Carved Out Divas, and the name of her book is so amazing that It's a book on a roadmap of deliverance, from pain, a carved out life. So we're going to cover two books today, and we thank you so very much for joining us. We'll be back in just a moment. Here at Motivation Speaks with Angel Ferguson, we are super excited to welcome our freelance writers who are part of our writing team. Author Kit Swanson, author Chandra Mitchell, and author Maria Adgerton. You can find their articles within Hope and Truth magazine, in our printed as well as our online version. Each writer is dynamic, writing in their own way and in their own style. being directed through the Holy Spirit. And what I absolutely love about each of these individuals is that their writings are all about spiritual growth. It's about uncovering and removing those things in our lives so that we can grow closer to Christ. So they fit in very, very well. And I don't actually recruit for writers. I pray about it. And when the individuals come, we've had some that came and they were not a good fit for us. But God has his perfect plan for us, and here we are grateful for those that he allows to come and to share and to be a part of our team. So we definitely thank God that they are a part of our team and that they write for us. If you would like to subscribe to our magazine, 12 issues are $36. You can receive the magazine either printed or emailed directly to you. And upon your new subscription, we will send you a complimentary issue of Hope and Truth magazine. Details on business tips and tools, our spiritual walk, some recipes. We added a new feature entitled Business Spotlight. So each month we are stepping out to enjoy the businesses that we are surrounded by. And I absolutely love it. The businesses that we've learned about and we've been able to connect to, we're going to feature them, at least 2 businesses a month, to talk about how they got started. We are a few minutes away from our call-in with Denise Thomas. She is the author of From Pain, A Carved Out Life. And she's going to share with us the process, the roadmap of writing this book. It is a very, very good book. It deals with some very, very personal issues that I believe we all can identify with. And then later we are going to get back into Perfect Patty Messed Up, the devotional. We're going to talk about a upcoming promotion that is connected to the book in honoring the life and legacy of the author's brother. Something that I feel her passion when she talks about it, when she writes about it. So I want to connect you with that promotion as well. And if there is a certain book that you would like us to review and discuss, please feel free to email us at afergusonwrp@yahoo.com. I will send you details on how to get me a copy of the book, because here is the most beautiful thing. I actually read the books so that I know what I'm talking about, and that way I can fully discuss the books. If you are looking for a mentoring program, we would love to have you to become a part of our mentoring program. Angel Ferguson's Ministries. We offer classes, spiritual growth classes, as well as others. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Motivation Speaks with Angel Ferguson. We thank you so very much for joining us today as we have our guest on the line with us, author Denise Thomas. She is the founder of Carved Out Divas and the authors of From Pain, a Carved Out Life. Welcome, Denise. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It is an honor to have you on the air with us to discuss your book, your foundation, the other charity works that you are in. I know you just had a beautiful tea party that I saw you post about.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So we're going to get all of those good details and find out what you have coming up next and how we can support you and join in where we can to be a part of your efforts in what you do. And let me throw out there, everyone, she is a teacher as well. So she has the background to deal with our youth. So let us get started and tell us a little about you, Denise.
I am from the Virgin Islands, actually. I'm from St. Thomas. And I came to the States for education, as most people do when they leave. The island's very small. But I've been living here in Tampa, Florida since 1998. So this will be my 20th year in Tampa. And I just been here. I've been teaching for several years. This will be a combination of the time that I spent in the Virgin Islands as well as here. I'm looking at about 17 years altogether.
Okay.
And I currently teach middle school. And I like it. I teach reading, and which is a passion for me because I teach reading, which would naturally segue itself into writing as well.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, when did you first discover your passion for writing?
Well, I believe it was elementary school. I used to draw pictures and write little poems to go with them, and I think it flourished because my father asked me what I wanted for my birthday. And usually I like dolls and things like that. And, I asked him for a doll. But then he said, I'm going to get you something else, that you to help you. And I didn't know what it was. And he bought me a typewriter. All the way, just to tell you my age. We had typewriters, And it was the best thing ever. I typed everything. I mean, little notes and grocery lists and things like that. I was always typing. And I think it grew from there because I've never stopped writing ever since I received that.
Oh, awesome. I can remember I had I don't know if you remember, it was by Brother, and it was the electric.
Yep, electric typewriter.
Yes, where they had the floppy disk to go with it.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember those.
Yeah, I still remember mine. And I had it. I kept it for years. I mean, even into I don't want to tell my age either. Even into my 30s, I'll say, I still had it.
But it's excellent. It's just the thing to have. Now that they're considered nostalgic items. Classic items.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So, in writing your first book, and I know that you have so many other things that you're writing, what process did you take on getting this first one published above the other things that you wanted to publish?
This one is definitely personal, incredibly personal, and it was the most real piece of writing that I had done. Everything else is, I have a few other things I wrote for journals, but most of them are like fiction. They're poetry. They're little short stories that made things for adults and things for kids.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was so close to home because it flowed so well because of the fact that it's a very personal thing. But it never started as a book. It actually was a series of journal entries that had been written over the years. And I just going through a really hard time. And one of my very good friends, started looking at, she was helping me clean the house, and she was looking through my stuff that I had. And she said, "You've got a book in this. You've got books or journals that you just never, what are you going to do with this stuff?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't know what, And she said, if you organize it a little bit, it can actually be a book. And the one thing that she said that really affected me the most is that, you're sitting on something that could actually save somebody's life.
Yes.
So that was the big motivator there. And so I gathered all these journal entries and all these, notes that are written down, posted notes, it was everywhere. And then I said, I guess I'll organize it into a small book. And then I presented it to Angel, and that's what you have there.
Yes. So, and I'll say this for our audience. I am Denise's publisher.
Mm-hmm.
And when she emailed me the manuscript, I could identify, and I want you to talk about the book itself. The book is, it's talking about so much of what we as women go through. She discusses the times of attempting to conceive and to carry, and that effect. And when I got to the part of how long your daughter lived,
because it took years. I mean, what people may not realize is when you read the book, you may think it's recent, but you could sit on pain for decades.
Yes.
And so in essence, I would say where I'm living right now in my life, this stage of my life, is about 18 years in the making. So basically, I started off. The book actually opens up with me just the pain that I had when I had come to my last. I had one child that lived, and she passed away. She had lung and heart failure, and but she was the only one that lived that long, and all the others I had were miscarriages, and so it was just the actual pain of knowing that you had some hope, and the last bit of hope that you had was snatched away from you. And so from there, that's how the book opens up, and then I go into just all the bad things that happen as a result of that, because you don't really have a focus. You're putting all your focus into having this child, and then everything else falls apart. Your marriage falls apart. Your relationships with other people. You do debilitating things that affect you. You drink and you do drugs, and you just do all these things that are not healthy, not healthy for you. And one thing I came to a point of realization after years of sinking into a really, really bad depression. I realized that everything else in the world really doesn't work. What really works is that you have to have that faith in God, because He's going to bring you back out of these circumstances. Because I tried everything else, and nothing else worked. And for me to say, let me go back to my foundation, because I had a foundation. My parents are very faithful, God-fearing people. And I'm like, why are they still together? Why are they still going? They've been married for 50 years now.
Yes.
And it's like, there's something about that I need to go back and look at. What am I doing wrong that's missing?
Right.
And I realized that they never let go of their relationship with God, and God got them through every such situation and circumstance. And so I realized that that's what I need to do. I needed to also go back and reconnect and rebuild that relationship with God. And once I started doing that, my entire life got back on track.
Yes.
And so that's really, that is what the book is about. I started off the first half. The book is actually divided into two halves. And the first half is really talking all about my marriage and my miscarriages, my daughter, everything that I went through. And then the second portion of the book is broken down into life lessons. So
Yes.
it's actually broken down into 10 life lessons that I realized that, if I just, it's very interesting how you learn stuff through your life, and you're just like, oh, okay, maybe I should just practice what I preach,
Yes.
And so I broke it down into 10 sections, and each of them are the life lessons that have pretty much carried me thus far. And I hope that people will read it and really get something out of it, because, basically what I want to say to the world is that you don't let a problem consume you. Don't let these major issues consume you. Don't put your faith in people, put your faith in God, because that's the ultimate. He is the ultimate caregiver, healer.
Yes.
And then that's what's going to be best for you. And have faith.
Amen. That is just reading the book, and I definitely encourage our listeners, and we also feature the book in Hope and Truth magazine. It is available via Amazon. The name of the book is From Pain, A Carved Out Life. And later on in the interview, Denise, I would like for you to give us your other contact information. We're going to talk about your foundation and the scholarship program that you do from the foundation, and connect our audience with you on how they can be a part of it, because it is what I see, and I only just really go on Facebook to look and to stroll, and what I see is what you're giving them is so much of what's in you, in hopes that some things they don't have to face and go through. That yes, you are uniquely and divinely made because you are you, and it doesn't have to do with if anybody else comes along and champion you or to say, oh yeah, you're beautiful. What you're giving them is to know for themselves. And that's so important, because so many of our young ladies, even some of us in our lives, we waited for someone to tell us that.
Right.
And it didn't come along. And we were stuck.
Yeah. And it's just, you don't, I never felt that I was ever like a motivational speaker, or I was someone who, you know, you would take advice from. I mean,
right?
Because, you know, I think a lot of times where people where I get the pushback sometimes is because people say, well, you don't have any kids, you know. I said, well, I've been teaching for 17 years, and you take that and you multiply it by 124 kids. I've got thousands of so.
Yes.
And but I look at this from the perspective that, you know, I've lived life, and I've gone through painful situations, and, you know, I think when it comes to relationships with people, when you lose a child, it is not the same thing as losing a relationship with a man,
right,
or a relationship with you know, certain friends. I mean, this is from somebody that is from you. You know, it came from you, and you don't see the world the same. You don't, because, you know, imagine. I mean, think about it. We women, most people, when you meet a woman, the first question that you ask them is, "Do you have any kids?" Right. You know, people don't ever think that may actually be, I don't want to say offensive, but it might actually be a painful thing to hear, because especially if you don't have any. And black women are kind of afraid to talk about it.
Yes.
You know, they're afraid to talk about the fact that they may have lost their children, and because people just automatically assume blacks and you know, Hispanics or just certain races of people just have more children. We just got lots of kids. You know?
You're absolutely right.
It happens. It happens. We should not be afraid of miscarriage. We shouldn't be afraid of anything like that, because, I mean, these things happen and we need to talk about it. But in terms of my organization, well, I started a blog called Carved Out Divas, and basically it means, you know, diva is divine in vision and spirit, and carved out means that you've been cut. You know, I've had a rough life, yes, but I've been cut out, and I've been shaped and reborn, I guess, as a person who just is more in touch with God. And I feel that you know, when you're blessed, you have to be a blessing to other people. You have to give back. And because of that, I just started going out and doing. So the first woman that actually invited me to speak was at a domestic violence awareness meeting, and they had a seminar. Yes. And I just went out there and spoke to them about my, you know, what I'd gone through in my relationships and losing my children, and they really enjoyed it. It was a women's group, and then I was invited to speak at another occasion. I went to work with another group, and then I start working in the summertime with kids, you know, and I just liked it. I mean, this is one of those things that just blossomed. And then one year I went traveling. I went to Canada, Kids Museum. Yes. And I was so impressed by just the fact that it's a family-owned museum, and they were able to maintain their history. So then I started a fundraiser just to send them something every year. So this is our second year doing that. Okay. And then the fundraiser for the scholarship fundraisers for girls who are headed towards college. Sometimes a lot of them are the first one in their family to go to college.
Okay.
And I wanted to try to bless them with, you know, small gifts, something that you know, if you never think about things that you need when you head off to college, or at least there's a little bit of funding for like books or two, or you know, just any little items that they need. And I just feel like if you are blessed to give back, you should give. You know, we're not going to take it with us when we die, so might as well give it away.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us how we can find your blog
Okay.
and give us your contact information that will connect us with, so, you know, just in case anyone would like to follow you. So give us your contact details.
Okay, so on Facebook, I am Denise Thomas. There's a lot of Denise Thomases out there, but you definitely want to just look for me. But it's easy to find me via my blog, which is Carved Out Divas with an S, for Divine and Vision and Spirit. And I'm also on Instagram, Carved Out Divas. My phone number locally is 813-358-7694. And definitely give me a call, you know, so I can come out and I do motivational speaking. I can do events, and my new thing is tea parties for girls, and I love that because we need to bring ladies back, you know. And
Yes.
but that's pretty much the easiest way to get in touch with me is via Facebook and Instagram. You can get in touch with Angel. If you have my book.
Yes.
And again, the book is also available on Amazon, and it's called From Pain, A Carved Out Life.
Absolutely. And within Hope and Truth magazine, we just started a new feature that I would love for you to be a part of. Every month we are doing business spotlights. So in that business spotlight is I have decided that we needed to focus on women who are in business, finding out your passion of why you started, and just to shed some spotlight, because there are so many businesses that go unnoticed. And when we gain an understanding that the foundation it has nothing to do with money, but the foundation is about putting God first, but empowering others.
Correct. That's perfect. It's exactly how I would explain it to others as well. Because basically, you know, when I ask for funding or ask for help with scholarships, it's to all the money is pretty much given away. But of course, at the same time, when I have events, you know, they have to be. You have to pay the vendor. I mean, you have to pay your you know, for your space and things like that.
Right.
So that, of course, that goes to that. But remember, the whole thing it's a heart business. It is in the business of the heart. I need to give back. You know, because just like my friend told me, she said, you know what? If you are sitting on your talent, you are killing somebody. Somebody could benefit from what you have to give. Somebody could benefit from one word that you have to say. So, you know, just that's the ultimate right there. It's just I want to give back because so much has been poured into me, and I just by surrounding myself with just the most positive people that I know, they have truly helped me to just blossom and go after what I want. And so I feel like, you know what, let me go and shine and share my talents with other people. You gotta shine, you know?
Yes.
So that's the big thing right there. So I believe that we're always now with in terms of my scholarships, the scholarship is awarded in May. So I have a PayPal account. When you go on there, you go to the PayPal account and you'll find all the information. I'll actually go to my page and all the information is on there. But definitely contact me, because I would love to be able to award multiple. Usually I do about 2 to 3. If I could do 6 or 7, it'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Because I just feel like I need to give. And these girls, they benefit from it. They remember what you are trying to instill in them. And, you know, it's constant support. It's constant support that they need. Because we have to show our girls genuine love. You know, the problem is that we want to be loved by everyone and everything. But is that love real? That's a real question. Is it real love? We have to start showing our girls that people in society care about you, not for what you look like, not for, you know, what you can get out of you, but because they want the best for you.
That is awesome. So you said you have your next one is in May?
Yeah, well, the scholarship is awarded in May. I plan to have 2 more tea parties, one in June and one in July, because as a teacher, it's kind of hard to keep up during the school year. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. So I'm going to have one in June and one in July. I'm also going to have another one. A lady came to us and she kept telling me, she said, you have got to do an African-inspired tea party. And then also another woman wants me to do one that's a costume party. So I've got to figure out where those are going to fit in my calendar. I'm so busy. but I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen with the support of the public and with your support, of course.
Yes.
And with God's help. With God at the forefront, I know that I'm just going to claim it, but it's going to get done. It will be done.
Yeah. So definitely, when you have those dates, give us the information so that we can share it. And. Yes. I know definitely I can get you into the March edition of Hope and Truth magazine to as a business spotlight and to share the details of that. And then also, when do you accept applicants for what you give? Do you do an application process? How do you select your girls?
Yes, that information is going to be posted in April.
Okay, great.
Right, so because it's going to be like the actual form that can be. Once people, once I post the information, they show interest, I'll then send them the form that they need to fill in. So that's how that works, and that gives me a good month to read. A lot of times it's an essay that they would need to write. I need to know about the charitable work they've done. How they're doing in school. And so my thing is I just need that opportunity. When they start coming in, I need time to sit back and read everything. And, then that works. So I'm actually more to the end of March. It's for the end of March, beginning of April, because it gives me that month. And then we award it in the end of May.
Okay. Sounds awesome. Yeah. Looking forward to it. If you happen to jump on Facebook and check out Carved Out Divas, you will see the pictures of the tea party that she just had. The desserts looked absolutely delicious, let me tell you. And
yes, they were.
Yeah, everything looked really, really good. Like I said, I go on, I look, I don't comment, but I definitely look and I admire, and I can honestly say that you're walking in your gift and your calling when it comes to the next generation, and that's what it's all about. I can say that a lot of our children do not have that. So when you find those ones that pour and you pour into them, that's a gift that they're going to take with them, and when they reach our age, they're going to look back and they're going to remember that, hey, I remember Miss Thomas, that she took the time just for me.
And it's really funny that you said it, because I didn't even because I had tea parties and dress up and all the things when I was a little girl. It was natural for me. But what actually touched my heart completely was the fact that when we asked them if they had ever gone to a tea party, every single one of them said they had never gone to one.
Oh wow!
And I was overwhelmed. I couldn't even. Doesn't it try to keep from crying?
Yes. Oh yeah. I definitely understand.
I just couldn't fathom that. And I truly believe, because I long for my daughter. And all the things I want to do. I figured, if I didn't have a little girl, I didn't have her, here with me. She's in heaven, but she's not here physically with me. But I think I can do for other girls what I would have done for her anyway.
Yes.
So that's how I see it, and it just filled my heart with so much joy to know that these girls had such a wonderful time. And I do tell you about the dessert. They
looked good.
We were in a sugar high. We had candy covered pretzels, chocolate covered pretzels, and apples, and got chocolate dipped Oreo cookies, and we had of course all the teas there. We had it was so much. Just so much. And I want to give a small token of gratitude.
Yes.
To my vendor, Riri's Sweet Emporia. She is the best, and her name is Sharika. And actually, you know what I'm gonna do? The information is on my page.
Okay.
Put it back at the top of the page as well. If you want it, she's a very she's a single business owner. She's just she's just getting started. But I'm telling you, her desserts are top quality. The chocolate covered strawberries. I want to put it back on the page because I'm telling you, you've got to get it. And she has bundles right now for Valentine's Day, which is great. So
awesome.
Definitely want to get in touch with her. Yeah, she's the best.
Yes, everything looked really, really good. I know for me, I absolutely love tea parties and girly stuff.
Right.
I remember my very first one. I actually launched one to introduce someone else's business. My assistant, Jeanette, her mother does tea parties. She comes and she does the entire setup. And she brings in she brings in everything, even the scones, the homemade scones, the desserts. She does the full setup. And what really got me into it is I looked up the history of tea. And when they started doing, yes, there was a whole history of why they did tea. And that because I know for me everything has to coordinate, but that wasn't the significance behind it. It was just that it was fine china, and it didn't all have to match.
Right.
So
and the girls said the same thing. They said, "Oh, this looks like the Mad Hatter's Tea Party." I said, "Yes, it does." That's the concept.
Yeah. So I gave all of the attendees a copy of the history of tea.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, but I have to say that what you do is, I know you do it from the heart, and you're not doing it because of money, because you have to put out so much, so it's not, okay, I'm not going to do it, but you do it, and you do it with a passion, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it just, you know, I was overwhelmed. I appreciate everyone who does work with me because they are, you know, it's hard to find things like space. It's hard to find, you know, the availability. I like those intimate settings. I would love to have a large one, but for right now, what I pretty much can handle is something small. And the smaller intimate is good too because the girls, you know, they don't. I want them to feel comfortable as well. I want parents to feel comfortable because, you know, you're asking somebody to, you know, let me borrow your child for an event, you know.
Right.
And so I always want parents to feel comfortable, and they're more than welcome to stay at any event. But the tea parties, it's like it benefits the girls as well, the parents. Everybody needs a little break and return to that. But I thought the funniest thing was when a parent asked me, she said, "You teach this child 5 days a week, and you want to see her again on Sunday?" And they were like, "Okay, here you go. You can have her back." And it's not even about that. It's just the fact that, you know, I mentioned it in school, and the kids were just like, "I really want to go." This is just, you know, so, you know, I do that. And then, of course, you know, one event usually leads into another. So they're all clamoring right now. We're actually going to go at the end of the month to see Black Panther because I think it involves, it does have very good positive images of Black females, and they just women in general, strong women. And I do want them to see that. You know, they get hit with so many images of women that are negative or sexualized or whatever. And so the parents are like, "Hey, take them," you know.
Okay, well, that is good.
So that's the next step. At the end of the month, we're going to do that.
Awesome. So I know you said the costume. Are you going to do a vintage tea party?
I'm hoping that it's going to be vintage. It all depends, you know, because in my growth, I'm hoping that I'm able to start collecting, you know, unique pieces of clothing, so that parents would just have to bring the girls to the tea party, and then they could do a full dress up, everything, you know, the pearls, the gloves, the hats, and, you know, so that's really what I'm actually looking for. That would be my next big ask if I had one.
Okay.
Which is I'm looking for people who are willing to donate, you know, these little vintage pieces of clothing that would help me, you know, boxes of just the great big pearls, or the gloves and the hats and even little dresses if they can find any, you know, just or anything, the boas, Because even if the girls, most of the girls came with dresses, they already had a really pretty dress on, but if they had the long boas, you know, they put on, so you could just feel so fancy.
Yes.
Everybody wants to feel fancy, you know.
Yes. I know. Yes. For the china that I have in my office, because you know I love my china and my tea.
Yep.
I'm actually sipping on some maple tea now. I went over to the Salvation Army to get a lot of my dishes and antique coffee pots. So while I'm out looking, I know you have another one coming up, so I'll definitely keep an eye out for you to see when they put that stuff out, because and see where I can give you some donations for your ladies.
Thank you.
You
I really
are welcome.
That.
You are welcome. And tell me before we leave the air, and I know at first I said 20 to 30 minutes, but when you have a good interview and there's just so much information to give, we can definitely go the entire time. When you had your first book published, how did you feel?
I was so ecstatic. I mean, because first of all, just knowing that all those notes and pieces of paper, it was actually in a bound book. That alone is overwhelming. Because, and then to see my name on it, the cover, everything that was in my head is exactly what I wanted on that page. And then to look at it and see that it's, you know, it's broken up the chapters I wanted, and I cried, you know, because it was just, you know, something I talked about for so long, and out of pure fear, which is a mind killer. Yes. Pure fear, said to myself, I just can't do this, or this is too personal. I really should not do this. But the release basically is what it was. Just knowing that it is out there, it is done, it is physically printed, it is a product that I can use. Because really, it's not about the book is what draws people in, and then I get to do my motivational speech, like my things like that. But it's the physical, looking at that physical book, putting a copy in my hand, touching the book, and saying, "This is mine. I made this. This is me." I was overwhelmed, and my parents were the first ones to buy a copy from me. My parents were like, "Absolutely," and I was just shocked because I'm like, "Do you know what I wrote in here?" You know. I was like, because my mother told me, she said, "I know you," and because this is only one volume of this, because my life has so much stuff. I've got so much to share. Yes. But my mom said, "You better not put anything about me in this book." She said, "Wait till I die before you put it." But no, I mean, I say, you know, the truth will out, as they say. I mean, I feel honestly, I feel free. I feel free now that the book has been published, but just the physical. Looking at the book, and then when I went and saw so many copies of it available in front of me, that shocks you. Yes. You actually see multiple copies laid out on the table, like, this is your book. I said, "This is my book." So I was, it was just, you know, it was awesome. It was a very, very, you know, amazing feeling to know. And that you can, you know, take it with you. Everywhere I go, I take my book. And I'm like, by the way, you can go get it on Amazon.
Yes. I always describe it as birth.
Yes.
Because it is your labor. It is your experiences. It is the pains, the joys, the highs, the kicks, the blows. And then it is birth for someone else.
Exactly. So, but you know, that's what it is. That's what it is. I just felt amazing when I saw the book. Still have one copy left in my hand. Physical copy, so I need more.
Yes, ma'am. We will get you more. And we thank you so very much for joining us. I'm actually going to email you some details on what I'm going to need for the magazine for the month of March.
Okay.
And, you know, it's just that special part of you being a client as well, that whenever you have events, please feel free to get them over to me, and I will announce them on the air.
Okay,
and
great.
It will hit all of our social media as well as our iHeart radio station. So please feel free to share with me. Just send me an email and I will get it on the air. No worries.
Great.
To help. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry, but I forgot to mention that my email address is carvedoutdivas@yahoo.com. Forgot to mention that.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Carved Out Divas. I absolutely love that name. You're going to love the logo. It is it's a shoe. It's defining. So you're not going to miss it as you search out Carved Out Divas. And if you would like to invite Denise for your next event as a motivational speaker, please reach out to her. I'm telling you, you're going to love the lessons in the book. They are hilarious. They are truthful. You're going to see yourself in some of those lessons, let me tell you. They are very identifiable. And the best thing about it is the publisher is when I get to read the unedited copy, the raw copy, before we polish it up, is I'm just sitting there and I just shake my head. I'm like, oh my God. But it's truth. It's real. It's life. So we thank you. I can't thank you enough for sharing that part of you with everybody else.
Thank you. You're most welcome. I do want to throw a little snippet out there as well.
Go ahead.
Tell you, if you're looking for the logo, a thing that most of my family actually picked up on is that in the shoe, it says Carved Out Divas on the bottom. It's a purple stiletto shoe, but on the heel there are three little rocks, I guess you would call it, that look like they cut out of the mountain. But if you're from where I'm from, you would know that those three rocks, those three chunks are the Virgin Islands, the three islands: St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix. So that's why it stands out.
Oh wow!
It's symbolic. It's symbolic. Yeah. So that's it right there. So most people didn't, unless you're from the Caribbean, and you know who I am, then you'd realize what those three rocks on the bottom are.
Oh wow!
So I wanted to share that. Yeah.
That is good. That's good to know.
Yeah. There you go.
Very good. Very good. See, those hidden secrets I absolutely love. Everything has a significance. And before we leave the air, like your book cover.
Yes. The book cover.
It's absolutely, I know you had something else in mind, and I could visualize it myself. And for those, because even when I mentioned that you were going to be on the air, I didn't even mention that you were a client, but my son did your cover, and the way he did it, I know I was ecstatic, because he sat with you, and when he came back with what he had, with the baby and the words and and he actually signified each thing, and I'm like, this is exactly what you wanted.
You're right. And if you saw the cover, this is going to encourage people to go get the book, because you need to see the cover.
Yes.
And it really, all I can pretty much say is that there's a baby on the cover, and there's words on the cover, and it follows a roadmap. And because the subtitle of the book is A Journey by Denise Thomas. And so, and my life has been a journey. Up to this point, my life has been a journey. And I things that you want to accomplish, you always have to make room for plan B, as David Garrett could say. Is that the road may never be straight. It's always going to take you with twists and turns. And I think that the cover is beautifully done. I believe that the cover is it really. I did have one idea in mind, but at the same time, this really, because this is where all my pain comes from, and so this is an excellent cover with the baby on the front of it, and it's just amazing. I really appreciate it.
Yes, I absolutely love it. I think out of every book cover so far, this is actually my favorite one, to be honest with you. I haven't seen this is actually my favorite one, and he has done some great work, and we have some others that we've published, but so far I'm gonna have to say that is my favorite one. Once again, please check Amazon for From Pain, A Carved Out Life from author Denise Thomas. Check out Carved Out Divas and connect with her. And coming up in March, we will feature Miss Denise in our business spotlight with more details. Thank you so very much, Denise, for joining us today. And I will send you emails on what we're looking for your March spotlight. I can't wait for that. And we're going to have some photos from the tea parties and some other things that you've done. So we don't just want the words, we want the visual of you. So get ready to get your pictures together, because I definitely spotlight you, not just from your verbiage, but so that we can see the pictures as well. So I want to, when I say spotlight, I want to definitely spotlight the individual.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And we're going to say goodbye to our audience, and we will check back in with you on tomorrow here at Motivation Speaks with Angel Ferguson. Have a great day.